Talking.
Mr. McCall, Welcome to Agents of S.C.R.E.E.N, the first and only place to come to for movie reviews live at the cinema. We've just come out of seeing EQUALIZER 2, which is the sequel to the 2014 Denzel thriller. So we're just going to get straight into our first impressions of the film. I'm going to go to you, Daryl, first. What was your first impressions, EQUALIZER 2?
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. It's not as good as the first one. It's a very simple storyline, but I guess that's what you're going to get anyway regardless. So yeah. It had just basically a lukewarm, there's no like good point where I was like, oh my god, this is such a sick film. It just kind of just trundled along, and then the film ended.
Okay. Tom, what about you? What was your first impressions?
I agree it wasn't as good as the first one, but I don't think it was a bad film.
Okay.
Fair enough. I still thought it was a good film. So.
What about anyone on this side? First impressions, Ed?
First impressions. I think there's a saying that I think a lot of the film industry use, and it's don't make a sequel unless you got a story worth telling.
Okay.
And I think this sequel, for me, I feel like there was absolutely no reason to tell it. Like, we watched the film, yeah, it was alright and whatever, like, carried on, but it wasn't worth making the film for. That's what I kind of think.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let man get his points off, innit? Man gets man's points off. Anyway.
Get my points off in that. Yeah. No, that's it.
So, okay, we've had some very interesting takes about our first impressions, so we're just gonna go into what we liked about the film first. Ben, I'm gonna come to you. What did you like about the film?
I preferred the action scenes in the first one, but I guess where Denzel's getting kind of old now, he can't really be throwing himself around the place. So I feel like for the age he is, they made the action scenes good. Like, it was like Snake in Metal Gear 4, where like he's just old Snake, He's just
Wait, he wasn't like that in the film.
Bro, he was.
He wasn't like that.
That fight.
He wasn't like that.
One more, I liked, in the first one you had that girl, the relationship. That's the reason why the whole film happened. I feel like the relationship in this one was a lot stronger with him and the boy. Like, it was like a father figure to him, and like he was trying to like lead him away from like the gang life and get his talents, like trying to make a career out of it. So I kind of like that aspect of it, and that scene in the flat. That was a good scene.
I'm gonna echo the same thing. I thought the relationship, there was good chemistry between Denzel Washington and the actor's name. I can't remember what his name is, but he was in Moonlight. I thought the scene, especially when he saved him from the gang, it was a very powerful scene. I enjoyed that scene a lot. Anything else that we liked on this side?
Yeah. I mean, going on that whole scene that we're talking about, is I think obviously it's quite a good scene for this period in America as well, where like, you got gang violence and all that stuff, and you've got another male trying to say, look, let me help you get out of this. Do you know what I mean? And also it's like when you see these other kids watching this, I'd imagine, I don't know if they'll think the same way, but he's basically giving them a speech, like even the bit where he says, I lied to you, I'm putting the gun in your face. You know what I mean? Like, he's really giving the reality of this is how life will be if you go, do you know what I mean? And I think that will scare a lot of people, like, Rod, that's actually true, do you know what I mean? So it's like a powerful message in that. I think the only thing is, like, what you were saying about that, the story, is I think it's a bit of a wasted opportunity in this film, because I think they were, in the first one, you didn't really know who he was. It was kind of like he's just some guy who works in B&Q, and it's just like, oh, I just do this and do that, and no one didn't know who he was. They didn't talk about his family, they didn't talk about what he's about. There was hints in that, but in this film it was more like you get to visit his house, you know where he lives, like, they talk more about his wife, and do you know what I mean? I think there was a bit of a waste opportunity, because they could have done more with trying to find out who he is. But it always seems to be like a connection that he has with a younger youth or whatever. And, do you know what I mean? So they could have been a bit more, basically.
Yeah, just the final thing that I enjoyed, I thought Denzel Washington was good, like his acting performance. I think he shines most, not in the action stuff. Even though I thought the choreography was good, like the scene where the guy was in the lift, he was the lift driver, and a guy with the passenger in the seat was trying to kill him. I thought that scene was good. But even though like the choreography was good, I think he shines most in like the dialogue side of the acting, like him bouncing off other actors. I thought that was good. But we're gonna get into what we didn't like about the film. Ed, what did you like about the film?
Oh mate, I don't regret watching it, but it was just like, it's so forgetful. It was so forgetful. Like, I wasn't invested. I tell you what, the thing I was invested in most in that whole film was was this old man gonna ever meet his sister?
Okay.
That's all I cared about.
about
Like,
that, you know,
that's
but yeah.
all I cared about. Everything else, I was kind of just like, yeah,
I think
whatever,
they
man.
could've cut
Like,
that out of the film, to be honest.
well, that's the only thing that I emotionally cared about. Like, the only issue I have with the whole, like, him doing this whole equalizer thing. I don't know if you remember at the end of the first film when they revealed one of the books he was reading was The Invisible Man. And I think it was kind of alluding to the fact that he's an everyday man, he's behind the scenes, no one knows it's him doing all these things. But then he's so open with what he's doing, I'm surprised someone hasn't just come and got him already. So, for example, he murked that guy, you know, when the guy drugged the girl, the group drugged the girl and raped her, yeah? And he's their Uber driver or Lyft driver or whatever it is, and they've given him a 5-star rating. They could easily follow that up. Alright, that Lyft driver, do you know what he done? Get some rich government people, yeah, go get this guy. Like, I'm sure people are looking for him. The Russians are definitely looking for him.
Even them gang members as well. Like,
Yeah, I
he's
thought
rolled
that
up
as
into
well.
there.
Yeah.
Surely they ain't gonna let that slide.
Yeah, come to his house or something.
So,
I thought that was
They know
all.
where he lives because they know where the boy lives. So they definitely could have rolled up and been like, "Hey, yo, who's this pups? Like, who's this guy?"
Fair though, he's got contingencies though, because even when those people broke into his house, he's like, yeah, what you doing, bro? Like, I can see you, like, what you doing?
Contingencies, but okay, we got to see it though. Why haven't these people acted on it? Like, he's the Invisible Man, he's doing all these things for people though, and it's like there's no repercussions.
Yeah, one thing that definitely annoyed me in the film, speaking on like contingency plans, is a scene where Miles, the guy's
I
name,
know
was
what
he was behind the bookcase, and Tom was sitting next to me, and I was saying like, don't come out yet. Just wait, just chill. Like,
I would have slept.
yeah, slept in there overnight. He came out of there immediately. Like,
Was he not getting you mad when he was just talking?
yeah.
Stop talking.
Mr. McCall, like, I'll call
And
you,
he
like.
saw the guns, that's the joke. So he knows that they have guns, but he's still going, what's going on, Mr. McCall?
I was saying he needed to put that phone down. Like, why are you on the phone?
And it's super bright. He could have easily turned down his brightness, do you know what I mean? But
Don't get me started on the villain.
The only thing is, I felt like the villain, like the big plot, like reveal, it was quite bait. It was like, he's up to something, ain't he? I see it coming. Like, yeah, very predictable. But I mean, there's not major negatives you can take away from it, because it's just you get what you pay for. You know, you don't go into it thinking this is gonna be like Mission Impossible, for instance. It's not gonna be like that. You're just thinking, oh, it's gonna be Denzel slowly fighting people. That's it. Like,
Hold on, why don't we think we're going into... I didn't get what I paid for, because I went in expecting a sick Denzel Washington blockbuster movie.
but did you think that about number one? Did you think this was sick?
What, about number one?
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
But-
So what made you think, oh yeah, number two?
Because they learn from what they've done wrong. So you get the first one, they go, right, do you know what? We could have done this. Let's make the sequel maybe bigger. Not that it has to be bigger, but let's fix our mistakes.
One thing that I didn't like was in the end, like, I thought the CGI was quite poor. Like, for the storm bit, like when he was on top of the tower, like sometimes it looked a bit wild.
When he opens the boot,
Yeah.
there's the storm behind him. It was so fake. Like, it wasn't. It just looked a bit odd to me.
And in the final climactic fight between Denzel and Pedro Pascal, I think that's the guy's name. Like, you could tell, like, it wasn't Denzel, it was some random black dude.
And they kept jumping in and out of Denzel. Like, you see Denzel doing this, and then
He wasn't moving that slow, man. He wasn't doing. I have to. Hold on. No. I have to defend Denzel. I have to defend Uncle Denz. I have to defend him. He wasn't moving that slow at any point in the movie.
But it was bad. It was bad. That particular scene.
The
Anyway.
CGI was a bit.
I just think it's terrible villain, very predictable villain. He didn't do anything special, and I understand it's a thriller film. You're not going to get anything. Do you know what I mean? I think the acting of Denzel kept this film like interesting for me. Yeah, like if he wasn't in it, and it was someone else. It'll probably be dead, and that shows how sick his acting is. The storyline was just lukewarm. It was just there was no high point. It was
And you
just
said to me that you thought that the ending was anticlimactic.
yeah. The ending was very like it just okay. He's on the tower and they're all doing their little scuffle, but it was just weak.
But do you guys want to see Equalizer 3, or are you calm on the series?
I'll be honest. I don't.
What did you say, Tom?
I don't think you should make another one.
No, okay, fair
No,
enough.
what else is there to say? Like,
No, it's true.
Like,
I
what else is
think,
there to
I think there
to
is
show,
though.
like?
That's the thing. I honestly think there is. I got 2 plans for Equalizer, and I hope you're listening, Denzel. The first thing they could do is if they made a third one, I want them to kind of go into more of who he is, because it always seems to be a dynamic between some young kid and him.
Is that worth paying the admission to see who he is?
I believe that, because you could have all these assassins from back in the day going, oh, we know where he is now. Like you said, where you're surprised he doesn't get caught out or found out, and now if people come and find him, that kind of would open up more to know what he's been doing in his past, because the guy even said to him,
prequel? Or just...
No, I'm gonna get to that. So for instance, he's sitting down and he's talking to the guy and goes, oh, so you shouldn't die too, like you're guilty as much as I am. And he says, yeah, 100 times over I am. So all those times he's talking about 100 times over, it would be nice to know what he was about. So going into the second idea would be a TV show, Equalizer, of the prequel. So
I'm following.
And so for instance, they could easily do a prequel of showing how sick he was, because obviously you know that time of thing, and he's like, I'm not as good as I used to be. So like all those little things, even if you show like his trainer who trained him, you know what I mean?
I'll be honest, I wasn't really feeling the first idea, but the second one, sorry. So after our discussion, Equalizer 2, we're gonna get into our scores out of 10. Ed, I'm coming to you first.
I mean, like I said earlier, the film, for me, it just wasn't worth telling. Really wasn't worth telling. It's not better than the first one.
Okay.
I think villain reveal, predictable. I knew it was going to be him way before. Like, it's bait. If I had to score it, I'd give that a 6 out of 10.
Final score?
Final score.
So 6 out of 10 from Ed. Someone gonna come to you next.
Yeah, I thought it was an okay film. Like everyone said, it's not as good as the first one. I think Denzel, if he wasn't in the film, obviously the score would be a lot lower. I think his acting's on point. Even little bits where he like picks up the little girl, you know, when he gets the lift from Dave's thing, just little things like that. It just makes the film. But yeah, obviously not as good as the first predictable villain kind of thing. So I'm gonna give it a 6.5.
6.5 out of 10. Ben, you're next.
Well, I watched the first one like yesterday, and I'll probably watch it again. Same as this one. Yeah, actually no, I won't watch it again. Like the first one, I won't watch this one again. Flat story. I felt the villain was very predictable. Some action scenes were good, but then some others felt a bit, I would agree with Tom and say 6.5. I mean, Denzel carried it. That was like Liam Neeson or something. That would have been whack. Like.
6.5 from Ben. Daryl, last but not least.
Again, like you said, I think the Denzel Washington makes the film. I don't like the jokes in this. I thought the jokes were just put on a lot. They were just trying too hard to make people laugh. Even the bit when like he's carrying the kid. Okay, that was a little chuckle, but there were some people in the cinema just going, like they were really losing it. I was like, come on, calm the fuck down. Do you know what I mean? So I think all in all, I'll give it at least a 6.5. It can't go higher than that.
Let's see, I agree with the statements everyone pretty much made. Denzel was the high point, but I felt that there was more things I didn't like about the film than liked. Villain, story, CGI, and the scripts, everything was subpar. Yeah, I wouldn't say you have to, this is a must watch. You can wait for this to come on whatever your latest streaming services are. I would say that because we've been kind of blessed with a lot of good action sequences over the last few years and this year as well, in this genre, there's nothing special in this film. While there are good moments, there's nothing special that is like groundbreaking or memorable. So for that reason, I would give it a 6 out of 10. So after discussion, we tallied all of our scores, and after some quick maths, our average Agents of S.C.R.E.E.N score for Equalizer 2 is a 6.3. But that will conclude our video. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. What did you think about Equalizer 2? Put that in the comments below. And until next time, from all of us at Agents of S.C.R.E.E.N, see you soon. Peace, goodbye.